Hey, this is your girl. Don't let the smile fool you coming at you. Um, you guys, I wanted to talk to you about mental health. Um, there is not a whole lot of light being shed on mental health, especially with this pandemic. If you have mental health before this pandemic, oh gosh, you really are dealing with a lot now. Since the pandemic hit, people have been forced to stay in their homes more. They are forced to wear masks. They are forced to social interact with their family and friends online more, doing video chat, and they are having to social distance if they have to um, make arrangements to meet. They're having to make arrangements to meet outside. If the weather is good. It's just a whole lot. And then they have the stress of wondering how long this pandemic is going to last, um, and whether they going to get affected or not, and are they going to catch it from anybody, um, and if their pet's going to catch it, it's a lot that they're thinking about because of how this pandemic has, you know, just totally changed their entire lives. Um, Not only has it affected adults, but it also has affected children. Um, there's not a lot being said about children dealing with mental health, but it should be. You know, um, when we go quiet, our minds tend to race. They tend to race and cause a lot of dark thoughts to enter our minds, and that's sad and that's not good for us. We are social people, social human beings, and we need to interact with other people. But when we are closed in and having to isolate ourselves for such a long period of time, it causes things to go totally uh left field. Basically it makes us think certain things and stress builds up on us. Okay, over time we start to eat more than what we usually do, and we eat all the wrong things just to comfort us in the stressful times that we're going through. But when we have children, which a lot of us do, when we have children, we don't think about how it affects our children. But when our children start showing us, then we start to think. But when they start showing us in really traumatic ways, we finally wake up and realize, wow, I should have talked to my child. I should have seen what was going on. I should have known the signs. I should have seen that. I should have opened my eyes instead of focusing on what I was going through, you know. And that's something that I don't want to see anybody, face. But this family has faced it, okay? Um, I wanted to read you a short, just a little bit of the story I found. And this has brought a lot of light on mental health now. Um, it was a death of a teenager, okay? He was 18. He died on a Friday night in January of this year. His mother's name Karen Buckner, and him and his mother had a routine. They used to walk their dog Lilo, that's his name, and they used to have a routine where they walked the neighborhood, and they would walk the dog half a mile, in the neighborhood, and then walk back home. Well, he was on the football team, you know. at Glenbrook North High School. And what they did was for his memorial was they put flowers in his sports jersey, and the neighborhood, came together, candles, and you know, um, they put a bottle of pink lemonade because he was always seen with a bottle of pink lemonade after football practice, in his memory, and this is really sad, people. This young man, okay, he couldn't face the pandemic. He couldn't take it no more. He was so stressed out that he gave into the darkness, okay, and the stress of it all. And he quietly, withdrawn to the point where he couldn't take it no more and he gave his own life. He took his own life. That was so sad. This is what's happening, you know, and we need to talk to our children and let them know what's going on and help them to cope with what's going on. And I don't, I say, support children being on medicine, but if it takes for this child to be able to cope with what's going on, if they need medicine, then we need to make sure that they get the proper help that they need to, you know, cope with what's going on. And if we're having a hard time, if the adults is having a hard time struggling with this pandemic, then they are having a hard time too. So, and it's like two or three times harder on them because they are children. And children and teenagers, they need that social interacting so that they can grow, and mature into their own. And amongst their peers, having that social interaction with their peers, that's what they need, to stimulate their mind, and so that they can be happy, and not sad. That's what we want for our children is to be happy and grow, and be healthy, and safe. And with this pandemic, we have to do our best and our due diligence to help them to cope and be safe, you know, but also be happy. And make sure that they can talk to you about anything. They feeling sad and stressed out. We need to be able to let them know, hey, come talk to us so that we can figure this thing out together, and let them know that they're not by themselves. They're not alone because being isolated is lonely. It is lonely. And we need to let the children know that they're not by themselves. They can come and talk to you. You want to play games? Let's set up a routine where we do things interactively together and make arrangements for them to sit down and have video chat with their friends, maybe an hour a day or once a week or something like that. But they need to interact, and if not, take them to the park. Make sure that they're social distancing, of course, but make sure they have their mask, of course. But let them, get out there and run around and play, or, let them interact with their friends because being cooped up in the house for so long, it drives you crazy and makes you have cabin fever. So, and it brings on stress and depression, and we don't want that. That's bad. So we don't want that for our children or us. So we need to get out and get our children out so that they can interact and have that interaction with each other, their peers, and their friends. And if they need medicine, then get that help that they need. Let them speak to a therapist on online doc, or a therapist, a depression line or something like that. Then set it up so that they can talk to somebody, so that they can get the mental health, help that they need. A lot of people try to hold this thing in about the mental health, and they don't want to let nobody know that they're sick mentally, but they need to reach out and talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to somebody. This is your girl. Don't let the smile fool you coming at you. Peace. Love one another. And reach out if you need some help mentally.